For our devotion today on this Wednesday, we are in Acts chapter 17, and we're with the Apostle Paul as they're in that great city of Athens. First thing we want to think about today is about connections. We all are built to be in relationship with others. That is deeply challenging at this time for those of us who love to be with people. But maybe we find other ways through technology or standing close to a neighbour to actually be connected. The Apostle Paul had to leave Berea. He fled. But now he arrives in this great city of Athens, and he makes connections at a number of levels. So he goes to the synagogue to speak with those who are obviously Jews and God-fearing Greeks. But he also then goes to the marketplace with those who just happened to be there. And there are people there who just love big ideas, who love to talk and think through and rationalize. And so Paul makes connections at a number of levels with different groups of people. So into this challenge of COVID, God has placed you in a place that maybe you've never thought of before, in terms of work, in terms of where you live, and those that you're maybe reconnecting with. So how do we speak hope? How do we speak reassurance? Do we listen? Do we pray for them? Or do we try and articulate something of that hope? And that's probably a big challenge for any of us. What we learn from Paul, because he makes connections not only in terms of the place, but also in terms of his thinking. He then goes to another place of learning, the Areopagus. And yet they're confused, because Paul speaks about Jesus and the resurrection. They don't understand what Paul is talking about. So there's an encouragement to us that back then there were people who just struggled with understanding the person of Jesus and the resurrection. But he must be central to anything that we share about in terms of our faith. He enables them to think about creation, that God is actually not far from them, that they would actually seek him. So as we think about our relationships, we must pray for those who do not know Jesus, that they would seek him. So pray specifically. But obviously, he focuses very clearly on the resurrection. There is our hope. But again, we see very clearly that some sneered and others believed. So let us remember the connections that God has given us at this time that maybe are new. Let us think about who we pray for. But also realize that as Paul articulated the truth of Jesus, he talked about creation. He talked about God being near. God who wants people to seek him. Because in him, as it says in verse 28, for in him, that is Jesus, in God, we live and move and have our being. He is the one who gives us purpose. So that message to these great thinkers in the city of Athens is still relevant to us in the city of Lisbon. We give thanks for the person of Jesus, that in him we live and move and have our being. He gives us that purpose each day. Be blessed. Stay safe. Continue to love one another. Keep close to the risen Jesus.